Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this quick discussion regarding Robert De Niro and the arrival of his newest bundle of joy. He just had a baby, his seventh child. Of course, there's very little information on the sex of the child and who the child's mother is, but when I looked online, there's some articles out there regarding who the mother is. So, evidently, Robert De Niro has been allegedly in a relationship. I was going to say affair. He's been in a relationship with a young lady by the name of Tiffany Chen, and they met on the set of the movie that he did called The Intern. And there are pictures of her last year with a baby bump. And they celebrated his 78th birthday together in Spain. Robert De Niro is currently 79 years old. So I saw the pictures of him and this Tiffany Chen together. Evidently, I'm assuming this is the mother of his newest baby. He is 79 years old. His oldest child, which let's just do a whole run through. Okay, so he has two children by his first wife, Diane Abbott. Did they ever get married? I think they did get married. He has two children by his first wife, Diane Abbott. Drina, I don't know how you pronounce it. She's 51 years old. Now, this is a child that when he met Diane Abbott, this was a child that she had brought into their relationship, and he ended up adopting her. And then they had a child together, Raphael, who is now 46 years old. Then he had twin boys with his girlfriend, his very longtime girlfriend, Tukey Smith, and those twins are 27 years old right now. And then he has two children with his ex-wife, Grace Hightower, and they divorced in 2018. That was a very long, contentious divorce. But they finally got their divorce finalized, I think, in 2018, and they have two children together, Elliot, 25, and Helen, 11. Now he's just welcomed a new baby at the age of 79. In my personal opinion, I think it's a little bit selfish to have a child at that age. In the page 6 article, he said that this baby was planned. This child was planned, which is a good thing, that the child was definitely wanted. But I mean, realistically speaking, how much time are you going to give this child until, they have to bury you? It's just mind-boggling to me that you would plan to have a child at the age of 79. That's what he says. Who knows what the real truth is? But that's what he says in the page 6 article, that this child was definitely planned. And I don't know. Look, y'all, I'm probably going to get a whole lot of flack for this, but I'm used to it. It seems like to me this woman really wanted a baby by Robert De Niro, and she was going to get this baby by hook or by crook. She was going to get this child because it's Robert De Niro. Now, I just feel as if, I feel like these older men get seriously bamboozled by these younger women, and they get not necessarily tricked, because it takes two to tango, and they're both, enjoying themselves voluntarily. Nobody's forcing anybody else. And, the man has to have the wherewithal to protect himself if he doesn't want, any children. Obviously it takes two to tango, but I don't think these women were on the bathroom floor crying when they found out they were pregnant by these multimillionaires. And I'm talking about Robert De Niro, and I'm talking about Alec Baldwin, and I'm talking about any other, geriatric Hollywood actor that's out there procreating with women who are half their age. All of that. All of that. Okay. The article said that, someone was quoted, a close friend, no, his biographer was quoted as saying that, being a father is one of the joys of Robert De Niro's life. He loves his children. He loves being a dad, which is absolutely awesome. And his biographer said but they were still shocked when they found out that he had just had a baby. you would think that, at a certain point in your life, especially when your kids, well, his youngest is 11 and the one next to that is 25, so all of his children are grown except for that one. You would think that there would come a point in your life where you're like, you know what, now's the time for me to just relax and chill out and play with my grandbabies, you know, so that when I get tired of them and I want to take a nap, I can just send them back to their parents. This is my time now. I don't know how actively involved Robert, I'm pretty sure he was very actively involved in raising his children. He was there for all of his children. And I know he plans to be there for this youngest one, for this new baby that was just born. That goes without saying, but don't you just want to, like, why do you want to be changing? Now, okay, he's not even going to be changing diapers because he's Robert De Niro. If it's not him and if it's not his wife, there's going to be somebody hired, to take care of all of that. But still, like, I just don't know. Nobody's asking me, it will never be me, but if I was dating someone who was of a certain age, even though they had a whole lot of money, one thing for sure and two things for certain, I would not have a baby with them, because I would not want to put my child through the possibility of losing a parent at a very young age. Anybody can go at any time. You can have a 25-year-old mom, die in a car accident, leaving young children behind. Anybody can go at any time. That's a given. But the probability is so much higher when you're such an older parent having children, at a very old age, that this child you're not going to be around for this kid for too long, and they're going to lose you at a critical moment. And that's the kicker, is that there's a high probability they're going to lose you at a very critical point in their life, either when they're very young and not really understanding, and so they're going to have like a lifetime of really no memories of you, or when they're old enough to have memories of who you were, and then having to lose you at that age where, let's say, like around elementary school or so, where they'll know who you are, they have already bonded with you, they'll remember who you are, but then you're going to be gone. Or at a time when they're developing, like if they're teenagers, or even in their early 20s when they're coming into their own, and they really need, both parents there to advise them and to guide them and to support them, they might lose you then. So no matter at what point in their life, it's going to be a very critical time, whether they're a baby, a child, a teenager, a preteen, a young adult. These are very critical moments in our lives, and they're going to have to deal with the devastation of losing a parent. I don't think that's fair to the child at all. And for him to say that it was planned, he said that it was planned. Him and Tiffany Chen planned this baby. That's what I really didn't understand. Like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? And then also, like, if she was concerned about money, now she's a martial arts instructor, so I don't know if they met, if she was an actress in the movie Intern, or she worked behind the cameras. I don't know exactly how their paths crossed on the set of the Intern. But if her issue was, money, then why don't you have a conversation with him to set something aside for you if the relationship is that serious? Or why don't you just get married and make sure that there's something in the prenuptial agreement or some type of understanding of, what's going to be left behind for you, if that's the issue? I don't know. Y'all, if it talks like a duck and it walks like a duck, I don't know Tiffany Chen. I don't know her from a hole in the wall. But you're trying to have a baby with a septuagenarian, or whatever you want to call him, somebody who's damn near 80 years old. You're trying to have a baby with a man that old, who's that wealthy. Honey, sometimes you got to call a thing, okay? And it looks like you're looking for a come up. It looks like Tiffany Chen was looking for a come up. Now, I could be wrong. I could be 1,000% wrong. But did they think this through? Do they really think this through? That you're having a baby at the age of 79 years old. What is the probability? Because the possibility is endless. He can live to be 150 years old. That's a possibility. But the probability, the chances, the statistical chances of that happening is slim to none. So at a critical point in this child's life, in this human's life, they're going to have to go through the devastation of losing a father. Now, when you let nature take its natural course, we're all going to bury our parents if we don't die before them, right? So naturally, the parents will pass on before the children, and if you let things go the way they're supposed to. But as we get older, and as our parents get older, and as we are witnessing our parents get older, we are bracing ourselves for their inevitable end. And as we get older, we learn to deal with our emotions a little bit better, and we begin to understand the cycle of life, so that when that moment happens, when we do have to bury our parents, it is no less heartbreaking and no less painful or sad, but you have mentally and emotionally somehow have prepared yourself that there's going to come a time when you're going to have to lose a parent. And so a lot of us, if we're lucky, will have years to mentally and emotionally prepare for that moment. When you're like a certain age, or when your parents reach a certain age, you start thinking about that a lot. Like, one day my parent is not going to be here, and I'm going to have to navigate the rest of my life without them. And I'm going to have to deal with, the grief and the devastation. It's like you think about it often. The older you get, the older they get, especially if they have health problems, you begin to think about it more and more and more. And the more you think about it, the more you're starting to like brace yourself for that inevitable end. But a child doesn't know how to do that. Not even somebody in their 20s knows how to do that. Or maybe not even in their 30s will know how to do that. You know what I'm saying? So why set your child up for grief and sadness that's going to be with them for the rest of their lives? What was the pressing issue of needing to have a child at the age of 79? I mean, I don't know. But Robert De Niro, I forgot to mention this in the beginning. I have to acknowledge, give him his roses now. He is he's iconic. He is an icon in our society. He's an icon in the whole entertainment industry, the movie industry. He did the damn thing. He has put in work. He has given us so much of his talent. His list of movies is endless, of all the wonderful movies that he's made for us, all of his accomplishments as an actor. It's just, we'll be here all day talking about it. Just to mention a few of the iconic movies that he's given us: Taxi Driver, The Deer Hunter, Godfather, Meet the Parents, Analyze This, Heat, This Boy's Life, Meet the Fockers. He's done serious, he's done comedy, he's done period pieces. Raging Bull, did I mention that? Raging Bull. And I read his biography, and everybody knows he's a method actor. I think they call it a method actor, where he completely immerses himself in his characters. If he knows he's going to be playing a certain role, he will live as that character for like weeks or months up until he plays that movie. And he will go out of his way to give that character all the little interesting idiosyncrasies of that character to make that character as real as possible. He'll figure out how they would dress, how they would walk, how they would eat, how they would, shift their eyes back and forth, how they would hold a pen, how they would do this, how they would do that, how would they draw. He completely lives in that character. The moments leading up to the filming of the movie and during the movie, he is living that character like 24/7. So the accomplishments, the talent, all of that is just too much to even get into. But Roberto, what is going on? I don't have to feed the kid. There's no question that the kid is going to be very well taken care of along with Miss Tiffany Chen. There is no question. Sometimes I wonder if some of these women who go after, these older rich men and, try to have a baby with them, I wonder if they're like, their whole intention is probably to get married to them, but then that doesn't happen. And so they're like, well, the next best thing into his bank account is to have his child. And looking for her, Robert De Niro is he's still very much able to lay it down. And he did. And they have a baby now. And it was planned. Thank you so much for joining me for this really very quick conversation. On your way out, don't forget to rate the video. If you like this content, please go ahead and subscribe. And I will definitely talk to you later. Bye.